you've got a role and you've got a purpose, and that's going to be something that gives you some fulfillment and helps other people.
Yes, definitely, because when I went back to work, I'd had quite a high profile role where I was training other people. When I got back, my bosses, I think, felt that to protect me mentally and emotionally, that they would remove that area of my role from me. And I had very mixed feelings about that. I felt my confidence took a blow with that. I felt that people were saying, you're not the same person that you were before the cancer. You're not as capable. You are not as confident. You are not you. And because they had changed me and my role in the cancer did, I think it's very easy to get down and get depressed and feel that you've got nothing to offer. And therefore as well, that is yet another area of the cancer where you need psychological support to help you feel that you are a whole individual after cancer. You may be battered and bruised, but you are still a whole person. You still have a lot to give in terms of your life and your job and your home. And I think sometimes as well, friends and family think that physically, because you're looking back to normal, your hair's back, and things, that it hasn't affected you. But it does affect you, and I think that is the case whether you're male or female, young or old. That you know deep down that when you look in that mirror, things have changed, and you still have to get out there in the world and go out and do the things that you want to do.
Now, some people might be surprised to hear you say earlier that you felt isolated or a little bit lonely at times in the cancer journey, particularly as you had good family support. And I know there's patients out there, many patients, who actually don't have much in the way of family support just because of the way their life's organised. But what was it for you that made you feel, a little bit isolated in a way?
I think sometimes because cancer is a word now that's bandied about in the press, on the TV, and that a lot of it is very positive, which isn't a bad thing, where people are, they're sponsored, there's the Race for Life, there's, the Moonwalk, there are various big cancer charities where you see the person going through the journey and overcoming obstacles. When the door is shut on all of that and the person is sat as an individual on their own with their own thoughts about their fears for the future and treatments, I think you are lonely because nobody else is carrying that fear with them. It doesn't matter how close your partner, your child, your parents are, you are the only person that is holding that fear. It is you who is wearing that coat. Nobody else is doing that. And you're expected to deal with that. And sometimes you do, and some days you do, and some days you don't. And sometimes people will avoid talking about the subject when sometimes you might want to talk about it. Or I've had the opposite feeling, where sometimes somebody's wanted you to talk about it, and I personally did not want to talk about it, because although that fear was still there and it was getting bigger and bigger and I was getting more and more distressed, I actually would physically sit with my hands on my mouth to stop myself talking about it, because I did not want to unleash all that emotion. I didn't feel that I could cope with the distress of talking about my cancer. So in some ways it can be very lonely.